Animals are deliberate creators too. They are less specific in the new pieces that they're wanting to pick up along their physical trail. A lot of their intentionality was in place when they came. Before we can clearly answer your question, we have to tell you something very briefly. This life experience, this creative process, is 3 steps: asking, and then answering, and then receiving or allowing. So your life causes you to do much more specific asking than life causes of your cat. You ask with much more detail. So that is to say that your vortex, your vibrational reality, has many more moving parts, many more components. It's a much more active experience. Source answers your vortex immediately. And of course, Source answers the vibrational request of animals too immediately. So in that way, you're similar. You're both asking. You're asking with more detail. Source is answering both. Biggest difference between humans and animals? Animals turn their thoughts to things much more easily because they are in the receptive mode nearly always. And so, haven't you noticed how they can wrap you right around their little finger?
Well, that's the
They
thing.
know what they want. They're pure positive energy. They don't harbor negative emotion. They just stay in that place of pure positive energy. And we would like to say that no matter how it looks to you, 100% of the time, they are getting what they most want, no matter what, no matter how it looks to you.
What I'm trying to figure out, I get that, is how can I have a more peaceful interaction, because they're very deliberate and there are some behaviors that I just can't seem to make sense of. I know.
Well, if you do enough focus wheels, you will like to eat worms. So, are you wanting to modify the behavior of your cat?
I want to understand what they're trying to say with the things that they're doing. So if they
Mostly, I'm happy, I'll get what I want, don't fuss over me, play with me when I want to play, otherwise get lost.
I've heard things like animals, they're source, they're with us for a reason, especially pets.
Because they are here to emphasize what the art of allowing is. They demonstrate receptive mode, and that's their biggest value to you.
How can I benefit from consistent, peeing over my couch? How can I benefit from fighting all the time? It's not helping me get in the vortex. I'm trying to get in the vortex, and they're fighting, peeing, meowing, all these things, and I'm just that's not helping me get into alignment unless it's supposed to be a challenge.
Well, when we had the conversation with your cat, this is how that conversation went. The cat says to us on a regular basis, they all say essentially the same thing. We like to be outside. When we're outside, we can pick our place to pee. And when we're inside, we like to pick our place to pee also.
Point taken.
And when we say that the cat is really living the art of allowing more than humans are, is because the cat is unwilling to change behavior or desire for someone else, just following intuition. Now, you can train anyone to do anything. You can train your cat, you can bring anyone into alignment, and really we like to say that if you're really clear about what you want, hello, it's your cat.
Which one? I have 3.
That if once you're having an experience that you don't like, you're putting rockets of desire into your vortex.
Right.
But if the cat's behavior has your attention more than your vortex has your attention, then you're not offering any positive influence over the cat. The cat will be a cooperative component. The cat doesn't want to be an uncooperative component. The cat is following the path of its least resistance. And the cat is not as picky about its path of least resistance as you are. And so if you are really wanting to evoke from anyone behavior that is more pleasing to you, you've got to get your attention on the pleasing behavior and off the unpleasing behavior. And that's a discipline that most don't have, because when you find something that you don't want, you give your attention to it. And when you give your attention to it, you shine a spotlight on it and you offer a vibration about it. And the cat thinks that must be the place I'm supposed to pee, because that's where all of the attention is, you see. That's where all of the attention is. If you would put your attention on what you want and take your attention off of what you don't want, your cat will show you what your power of influence is. But you see, most people, whether they're dealing with other humans or whether they're dealing with pets, most really believe that their well-being hinges upon their control of behavior that they don't like. So when you set out to control behavior that you don't like, where's your attention? Where's your vibration? What's your point of attraction? What becomes the point of attraction? And all cooperative components. Cats that have never been in your house will come and pee on the same spot.
Ouch.
And you all say, oh, they're just arguing over who gets to mark the territory. We say, no, they're not. They're coming to the pee point of attraction.
Yeah, I mean, it's well defined at this point. Okay.
Did you hear that?
It's the focus thing.
And so,
I know it, I mean.
So what we're talking about here is it's hard not to notice stuff, isn't it?
It smells.
But we mean it's hard not to notice anything that you don't want. This is just one example out of many things that happen that you don't like. It's hard not to notice things that you don't want. It's hard not to notice.
Right.
But as long as you're noticing, then you're keeping your active vibration alive. And even more, you are separating yourself vibrationally from what you really prefer by giving your attention to what is.
Right.
So here's something that will be fun for you.
All right.
When we talk about this vibrational reality, do you accept that it is a reality?
Yes.
Even though you can't see it or hear it or smell it or well, we could leave the smell part out. Even though you can't see it or hear it so there is a vibrational reality. You accept that.
Where my house smells good all the time. Yes. And my couch is dry.
But you're talking about something other than the vibrational reality. You're talking about what is. You're talking about what has manifested. You're talking about old news. Anything that's happening right now is old news, because the vibration flowed a long time ago. Right. And it took time for it to manifest into something that is tangible. But even when it's happening right now, in terms of what you're hearing or seeing or so forth, it's old news, because the new stuff is in this vibrational reality. So if you could just for a little while, we know it's not easy, especially under extreme conditions, if you could notice less of what is and talk more about what you desire on that subject and all others, you will become every day more a vibrational match to your own preferences.
Okay.
And anything that does not match that preference will vibrate out of your experience. Now, most of you say, I don't want my cat to run away. I don't want my cat to vibrate out of my experience. And we say, the behavior could vibrate out of your experience. So we said to you that the cat's inclination is different than your desire. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone who wanted to do things differently than you do? And so is it always a compromise where one of you gives in? Okay, cat, you can pee on the couch. Or I'm bigger than you are. No, you cannot. And the cat says, try and stop me. And that's what you are all sort of saying to each other. When you try to exercise control over the action over the manifested part of your reality, you have very little influence, very little power. Because when you're looking at the problem, you are disconnected from the power. And when you're disconnected from the power, you have very little influence. So you're not clear. Does that make sense to you? That's why problem solving doesn't work. You got to be solution looking, not problem solving, because the vibration of a problem and the vibration of a solution are very different frequencies. And so you got to find some way to get into the vision of what you want, so much that it distracts you from what's going on. So when we say don't think about that, that's not fair, because you're thinking about that thing you don't want to think about. And law of attraction is helping you think about that thing that you don't want to think about. So you have to think about something else. You have to get off the subject of that.
I'll think about the other two that actually.
Do you believe that you have put into your vortex what you want relative to this?
Absolutely.
Do you believe that you talk about what you want relative to this more? Or do you believe that you talk about what you've got more?
I've been talking about what I got more.
And you know how you know that? Because you got it.
Indeed.
Because you're turning those thoughts to things. All of your thoughts are turning to things. All of your thoughts are turning to things. All of your thoughts are turning to things. The thoughts that you think, the thoughts that you practice, the vibration that you hold, they turn to things. That's why people can live in the same city and live very different lives. That's why people can walk down the same street and have very different experiences, or even see very different things. Your point of attraction is uniquely your own, and you've got to foster it. There's no exclusion in this attraction-based universe. It's all about inclusion. So when you look at what you want, you include it in your vibration. When you look at what you don't want, you include it in your vibration. And we know it makes you sometimes want to pull your hair out, and theirs too. Because sometimes you're seeing things that you don't want to see. And you want to take swift action in order to stop it from being. But it never, ever, 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 this is going to take a while, ever works. It never works. It never works.
So would that be kind of like part of their mission, intention, or purpose in being with me, that because of all that, it's helping me have a clearer focus into what I
Abraham,
do
is
want?
my cat my soulmate? And before we were born, did my cat promise me that he would pee on my couch?
Is that what we did, really?
And that would teach me to look at what I want, pretty much.
Thank you.